Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. Golden Bachelorette, was Charles Ling shocked by elimination? Golden Bachelorette fans were heartbroken when Charles Ling did not receive a rose on Wednesday night. He has quickly become a fan favorite in Bachelor Nation. In fact, Jesse Palmer has even deemed him a national treasure. After going home on the last episode, he is speaking for the first time and revealing if he was shocked that Joan sent him home. Keep reading to find out what he had to say. Was Charles Ling shocked Joan Vassos sent him home? Golden Bachelorette fan favorite Charles Ling was sent home on Wednesday night at the rose ceremony. He was one of 4 men to leave the show this week. While some may have been shocked by his departure, was he shocked as well? Ling appeared on Bachelor Happy Hour podcast where he opened up about whether or not he was caught off guard by his elimination. He said he was not. Charles went on to share his thoughts. He said, "I sensed it. I had the data. Why? Because I look around and I sensed." He continued explaining more by saying he really felt if he didn't go home Wednesday night, he would have the next week for sure. He added, "I kind of sensed I'm not one of the few final ones." While he wasn't the one for Joan, Ling is thankful for his experience on the show. He left with a different kind of love. Charles has friendships that will last a lifetime. He revealed how the men do not compete with each other. Charles Ling also talked about the friendships he formed while on the Golden Bachelorette. He says the men didn't really compete against one another while dating Joan Vassos. All of them know that Joan will only choose one, and he believes they will all be happy with whomever she chooses. Ling added, "We like each other, but as you know, like each other is one thing. To love each other is another thing. I'm happy for Joan. She continues her journey to find the best one she really loves." Charles credits the men on the season also with helping him move on from the sadness of losing his wife. They told him they know it's sad, but it's okay to move on when opportunity knocks at the door. Everyone will miss seeing Charles on their television screens every week. He just found a special place in Bachelor Nation's hearts. In a season filled with drama, heartwarming moments, and emotional connections, Charles Ling's elimination from the Golden Bachelorette left many viewers stunned. A fan favorite throughout much of the season, Charles, with his charisma, humor, and genuine approach to finding love, seemed like a frontrunner for a significant portion of the competition. His journey on the show was filled with heartfelt moments, and his connection with Bachelorette Vivian seemed solid, until it wasn't. So, was Charles Ling shocked by his elimination? Let's delve into the key moments leading up to his exit and try to understand what really happened. The build-up. Charles Ling's journey on the Golden Bachelorette. Charles Ling entered the Golden Bachelorette with an air of confidence that resonated with the audience. At 65, the retired architect from San Francisco had the worldly experience, charm, and depth that made him stand out. His genuine interest in Vivian, the leading lady of the season, was evident from their first conversation. Unlike some contestants who relied on superficial banter, Charles spoke to Vivian about real-life experiences, discussing everything from family to travel and personal growth after the loss of his wife. Their shared life experiences, particularly in navigating love later in life, forged an early bond. Charles often took the lead in serious discussions, and his ability to open up emotionally endeared him not only to Vivian but also to the audience. Throughout the season, Charles found himself in the middle of several one-on-one dates with Vivian. Their vineyard picnic, for example, was one of the most memorable moments of the season. They laughed, sipped wine, and talked about their dreams for the future. Viewers loved watching Vivian's eyes light up during their conversations, which felt like a mutual discovery of new possibilities. However, in a show as unpredictable as the Golden Bachelorette, no connection is ever a guarantee. For every bond that Charles deepened with Vivian, there were always others growing stronger in the background. Competition intensifies, other contestants gaining ground. As the season progressed, several other contestants began to establish deeper connections with Vivian. The charming and rugged Jackson, a 67-year-old former musician with a free spirit, often seemed to pull at Vivian's heartstrings with his spontaneity and carefree nature. Jackson and Vivian had some of the most adventurous dates, such as their hot air balloon ride over Napa Valley, and their undeniable chemistry became a topic of conversation among the remaining contestants. Then there was Oliver, a soft-spoken 64-year-old literature professor who dazzled Vivian with his poetic nature and thoughtfulness. Their connection blossomed during the season, particularly when Oliver surprised her with a handwritten poem during a romantic beach date. Despite Charles' obvious connection with Vivian, these two other contenders seemed to be gaining momentum. Week by week, the competition heated up, and Charles, who had once felt so secure in his place, found himself questioning his standing. As the pressure mounted, viewers noticed a shift in Charles' demeanor. Gone was the easy confidence, replaced by a more reserved and cautious side. It wasn't that Charles lost his charm or connection with Vivian. It was that he began to recognize that he wasn't the only one making her heart flutter. The last date, was there a shift? The week before Charles' elimination, he had one last one-on-one date with Vivian. It was an intimate and casual dinner at a cozy Italian restaurant where they discussed their futures in more depth than they had in previous dates. Charles, always the pragmatic one, talked about practicalities, moving to be closer to Vivian, blending families, and making the best out of their later-in-life romance. For some viewers, this grounded conversation was a sign of Charles' maturity and readiness to commit. But for others, it felt like something was missing, an excitement or spark that could carry the relationship forward. Compared to her adventurous dates with Jackson or her more poetic moments with Oliver, Charles' date felt more like a reality check than a romantic leap of faith. Vivian seemed introspective during their final dinner, listening to Charles but not engaging with the same vivacity as earlier in the season. In her confessionals, she praised Charles for his stability and emotional intelligence, but admitted she wasn't sure if their relationship could go the distance. This uncertainty was a red flag, one that would come to fruition at the next rose ceremony. The rose ceremony, a heartbreaking goodbye. As the men gathered for the rose ceremony, the tension was palpable. Charles, visibly anxious, stood among his competitors, hoping for one more chance to deepen his connection with Vivian. As Vivian handed out roses to the remaining contestants, Charles' name wasn't called. The shock on his face was evident. He had poured his heart into this process, and for him, it felt like an abrupt end to something that held so much potential. While he remained gracious in his exit, thanking Vivian for the opportunity to get to know her and wishing the remaining men well, there was a visible sadness in his demeanor. In his exit interview, Charles admitted he was blindsided. He confessed that while he knew the competition was stiff, he had believed his connection with Vivian was strong enough to carry him into the final stages. His eyes glistened with emotion as he expressed his disappointment, not only in the outcome but in what felt like the sudden loss of a future he had started to envision. What went wrong? For fans, Charles' elimination sparked a debate. Some argued that while Charles was the most grounded and genuine of the contestants, Vivian was looking for more than just stability. She wanted passion, adventure, and the thrill of something new. Others believed that Charles' pragmatic approach to their relationship may have come off as too cautious, especially compared to the risk-taking attitude of his rivals.